Hello explorers and welcome to this tutorial. I'm Aline Skywalker, the knitwear designer behind Skywalker Knits. Today I'm going to show you how to make a loose cast-on that you can use for knitting lace. So this is a variation of the long tail cast-on. So here I have worsted weight yarn and the needles to go with that yarn. At first I'm going to estimate how much yarn I will need to make the cast on. So let's say I want to cast on 20 stitches for this swatch. So I take the yarn like this and I wrap it around the needle with some room to spare. So I do it like that. And so on. So what I don't do is this. Where you have all the stitches bunched up together on the needle. I will need more yarn than that. So once more. Now I'm going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I don't let them go. I don't lose these lengths. Now what I know is that 10 stitches, I could do 20, but 10 stitches are this length. So I will unwrap that. And for 10 stitches, I need exactly this. So I'm going to double that. So now the yarn is double. I don't pull on it. Just let it rest gently in your hand. So this is the length for 20. I keep that. And of course, what I will need something to weave in my tail. So I need a little bit more. Like this, and I keep this point. So now I grab my needle, I put this spot on the needle. So here I have the yarn ball on this side, and on this side I have the tail. And now I'm going to start the cast on. So with the tail in my left hand and the live yarn in my left hand, I'm going to do this. So I have the tail on my thumb here and the yarn from the yarn ball here on my index finger. And the only thing I did here is I have a loop. And I keep my thumb on the loop to keep that first stitch in place. It's not necessary to have a slip knot. If you are more comfortable with a slip knot, just do that, but you don't really need it. So now I will start the cast on. So first I get the yarn from the tail, like a regular long tail cast on, and then from my index finger. And now the trick. I have to keep these two stitches really well separated, so they shouldn't be all bunched up like that. I'll show you what a tight cast on is. So here I have 2 tight stitches. I can do more. With the long tail cast on. So here I have 6 stitches and they are really, really tight. And there is no way, absolutely no way, they will stretch in length. So this is not good for lace. Now I start over again. Of course, if you do that, you have to re-estimate the length of your yarn. So I have a loop on the needle. I put my thumb on the loop and I'm going to get the first stitch under and over. And I have 2 stitches on my needle. And I keep the space between these 2 stitches big, so that they don't bunch up together. Now I do the same thing, so I will move my fingers to keep these stitches in place. I put my thumb on the first stitch and my index finger in front of the first stitch. This will create some space between the stitches, and this is what I need for a loose cast on that I will use for lace. So now make another stitch under the yarn from the thumb, over the yarn from the index finger and in the loop, and then I have 1 more stitch. And again I will keep them in place, put my thumb on the first stitch, my index finger in front of the first stitch, and do it again. So I'll show you a couple more, real slow. So keep the length, the distance between the stitches large. Don't pull on the yarn, don't pull on the tail, don't pull on the yarn from the ball too much. Thumb on it, index finger in front of it, and 1 more stitch. And again. Thumb on the stitch, index finger in front of it, and 1 more stitch. And so on. And at the beginning you will have to go really slow, because you have to get used to that, and the faster you will go, the tighter your stitches will become. Well, at least that's true for me. So just get used to it. And the critical part is not to let these stitches loose so that they all bunch up together. Now I will show you how this looks like. So this is the cast on with a lot of space between the stitches. And what you see, I will take my other needle, is that this strand of yarn here is long. Here it's a bit bunched up, and I can correct that. So they are all, well, here it is more difficult to see, but they are all equally spaced on my needle. And this is what you need with lace, because lace will expand and the cast on will have to expand as well. So you do that by having long strands here under the needle. To show you the difference, I will make a couple of very tight stitches now. So I get a bit of yarn. And I can do that fast, because tight cast on is, well, it's really easy. So, like so. So here, if I try to pull on these, there's no way they can move. Whereas if I pull on these, they expand nicely. And then will allow me to block my lace project. And these will not, because they are too tight. So that's the way you do a loose long tail cast on. So see you next time.